Ow, Sam, this is green. What's the green everywhere? It's horrible. It's too bright. It hurts my eyes. Make it different. Ooh, hello, welcome to the news. On today's show, we have news on a whole bunch of new WWE signings who have recently started at the Performance Center in Orlando. The reported schedule for All Elite Wrestling has been revealed, and a surprising title change occurred on last night's Raw. Who could that be? So first up, last night, WWE announced 12 new signings to 12 new signings to the Performance Center in Orlando. We are going to run those names down right now. The first, perhaps the one that people are going to be most familiar with, it's Trevor Lee. He's a fantastic heel, does some amazing flippy things. He wrestled with the Hardys down in Omega, which is interesting, but perhaps best known for his time in TNA. He's a former X Division champion, 3-time X Division champion, an unbelievable talent. Good to see him there. Yeah, next up though, we've got ACH, who I'm probably most familiar with as Tiger the Dark, or the Black Tiger from Tiger Mask W. Right. Been wrestling for over 10 years, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and Evolve. Unbelievable high-flying ability. Yeah. Just unprecedented skill. You know what, I'm not too familiar with his work, but I see GIFs posted very often to Twitter, and it's just like stuff that I've not said, like, amazing stuff. He's a former Evolve Tag Champ as well with Ethan Page. That's right. Next up, Jonah Rock, another name that people may be familiar with. He was in PWG's Battle of Los Angeles in 2018. Big name on the Australian indie scene, and he's wrestled all over the world. Here in the UK, he's wrestled for Progress, Rev Pro. It's home promotion's MCW, right, I think? Yes, yep. And he's even wrestled a few matches in New Japan. Yeah. We have next... Why did my voice do that? That was weird. We have next Rachel Ellering, the daughter of Paul Ellering. Yes. And she's probably not going to be managed by Paul Ellering. Oh, don't! Unceremoniously shooed away. He's gone. You can't travel. He was amazing. Good. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind the Drake Maverick AOP stuff, minus the peeing. But at the same time, she took part in the Mae Young Classic under the name of Rachel Evers. That's right. So I think they are distancing her from a family name, which in a way I think is good because people aren't going to draw comparisons and be like, oh, it's Paul Ellering's daughter. Yeah. It's going to be more, she can make a name for herself. She's wrestled in Rise, Shimmer, Stardom, and pretty much everywhere that will have women's wrestling on the indie scene. Yeah, she's really good. Yeah. She's really good. Incredible. As far, the people on this list that I think may succeed, I think she's right up there with Lee and Rock, and she's great. Have you ever seen Paul Ellering back when he was a wrestler? No. He basically was Billy Graham. It was really weird. Really? He was proper muscly and went on about how pretty he was and how he was so cool and it was, if you can ever find it, it's really funny. I've never seen that. Interviewed and he's just talking about himself in the third person. It's great. Next up is Karen Q. She is super energetic, again wonderfully talented. I feel like I'm saying that for all of these guys, but they really are. Yeah, Mae Young Classic. She was eliminated in the first round by Xia Li. She made her pro wrestling debut in 2014, and she's wrestled for Shimmer, for Ring of Honor, and for Women's Wrestling Revolution. Yes. Next up we have Sam Shaw, who has 12 years of in-ring experience. His name I'm not that familiar with personally. He's former TNA talent from 2010 to 2015, and he was awarded a TNA contract after winning TNA's Gut Check. That was a lot of saying TNA there. Yes. TNA. That's where I'm familiar with him from. He's wrestled all over in indies. One that I didn't necessarily expect to see signed, but he's very good. I remember his work in TNA. Do you think this is one that our boy from TNA has had a hand in? Borash, yeah. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. Next up, Scott Parker and Shane Matthews. They worked under the name of 3.0 on the Indies. I love this story. Worked International Wrestling Syndicate, and then they headed to Chikara and Ring of Honor. They were a heel team that basically had to turn face because they were too funny. Jack was explaining these guys to me yesterday. Yeah. And he said that they came back in full denim, being the Bad Boys, is that right? With a Z as well, Bad Boys. They were 2.0 and then they came out as the Bad Boys and they turned Rudo. And then, they... Chad Bad and Matthews and Brad Bad. They concealed their identity with denim and bandanas. And then Chikara's director of fun was like, I'm sick of you being heels. Director of fun. So, we need a director of fun.
It's you.
I am
big
fun
monitor. He was like, I'm sick of you being heels, so I'm going to put you in a tag team match in a loser leaves town match against 2.0. 2.0 obviously don't show, and then they're in the ring. They take off their bandanas to reveal they were 2.0 all along, and now they're 3.0.
When the crowd chanting, "We can't believe it," or something like that. Fantastic.
But yeah, they're two-time Chikara tag champs, two-time RWS tag champs, and they jumped to AOP on Raw last year in Quebec, and they were named Jean-Paul and Francois.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Fair play. Next up, Elliot Sexton. His real name is Brendan Vink. He is 6'5", a big power guy.
Yeah.
Guy that I'm not familiar with. He had a 559-day reign as MCW champion of Melbourne City Wrestling, and he's also tried out for Booker T's.
He worked for Reality of Wrestling.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Tried out for Booker T's promotion.
I apologise.
Next up, we have Nick Komotoro, who went by the name The Freak Beast on the Indies, which is quite funny.
Big
but
fan of that.
he is, like, to look at him, he is what a wrestler should look like, I think.
Yeah.
He's sculpted out of marble.
None of these vanilla midgets.
Yeah,
These Daniel Bryans.
He's got long hair, a beard. He looks menacing as hell.
Cool.
He is a former amateur wrestler at college level and football player, trained at the Monster Factory Wrestling School, which is the same place that produced Riddle and Punishment Martinez. He's a one-time old-time wrestling champion, two-time OTW tag champion, one-time Monster Factory heavyweight champion, and three-time Monster Factory tag team champion.
Next up, Omari Palmer. He is 24, 6'3". Pathetic. It's no 6'5", is it?
No.
Coming straight in off the football field. Not a great deal of wrestling experience, but very impressive to look at. He's from Syracuse. And a background in basketball, lacrosse, and amateur wrestling at a high school level.
Yeah, and then finally we have yet another bloody football player, Ricardo Miller.
They found the wrong Miller.
He's 26, 6'3", 220 pounds, and he's a tight end and wide receiver, known for his speed and agility at the University of Michigan. He was a member of the Sugar Bowl championship team in 2011, I believe, before heading to University of Massachusetts. Following college, he joined the German Football League and played for the Saarland Hurricanes.
They're just signing everyone, aren't they?
Yeah.
They really are.
I might see if I can go get a job.
Yeah, right. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. No, the photo is behind us now. It's an incredibly a gifted group of performers, especially the ones that I know anyway.
I mean, in theory, it could be the next. I mean, if you look back, there's that famous photo of all the NXT signees, and it's all the famous faces now.
Yeah.
Like, it could be the same thing in about 10 years.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It worries me that there's little room on the roster. There are already guys and girls who we don't see being utilised enough. You think it's going 2 hours?
I think it's going to go 2 hours and it's going to become its own brand.
Yeah.
Like, there's talks of people not leaving NXT.
I remember Triple H saying recently, I think it was on a conference call, we don't want people to see it as being called up. We want it to be seen as being like called across. It's just a third brand, which I really like, and I'm all for that.
But the last time we had a third brand, it was WWE CW, and it was
fantastic. New superstar initiative. Big fan. Next up, our good friends at WrestleTalk last night revealed the apparent schedule for All Elite Wrestling and what shows they've got coming up. And it's a really, really interesting one. They've named a few specific dates here. May 25th, Double or Nothing at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. We knew about that already.
That's miles away. Who cares about that?
Then in June 29, an unspecified show, but that will likely be in the USA.
America's so far away.
Wait for it. July 2019, Jacksonville, Florida, with a portion of the proceeds going to anti-gun crime charities. That was announced, of course, already. Yeah. And then August 2019, we will be there. Royal Albert Hall, we will be there. Royal Albert Hall in London, we are getting, it's a UK pay-per-view. Let's call it that. We wanted one for some time, a proper one. That's very exciting. And then September 2019, All Out, the official sequel to, of course, All In, with the full launch of the brand prior to the TV tapings beginning, which reported as being happening in October 2019. This is all very, very exciting.
Yeah.
This is...
Like, my favourite thing about AEW at the minute is the internet started out by going, they're gonna kill WWE! And now they're like, oh, I can't stand them, it's gonna fail. And everybody's like twisting round on it, and it's mental. But I think that realistically, if they get a good TV deal, which apparently they're gonna, because there's legacy networks involved, and they do Royal Albert Hall, how many times over what NXT UK drew to the Royal Albert Hall do you think they're going to do?
It'll be very interesting. I mean, the hype's there. It's a new company for sure. And they're just doing everything right. We've talked about this at great lengths on various videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, this isn't about competing with WWE. Sure, there's lots of comparisons being drawn because, hey, they want this tag team, they want this guy from WWE, that guy's contract expiring, is he going to go? Randy Orton, is he going to go? It's not about that. To me, this is about offering a different product.
Like, it's just
no, I don't think so either, but it is exciting. If they can offer something different, which they appear to be doing.
That's what they want to do, I think, is they just want to offer an alternative, and if people want it, great. If you don't, then don't watch.
Yeah. It's going to make our jobs even more fun. We've got even more wrestling.
Yeah. When SmackDown goes to Saturdays... that weekend shift's going to be great.
The weekly TV show is apparently, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it's going to happen. There's so much interest from all over the place. The money's there. And you know what? The success of this thing probably does still depend on a big TV deal.
I think it really does,
like
but I think like a super big TV deal, if I was to be that dick, I'd like it to be Turner. I'd really like it to be Turner, just so Ted gets one little last dip in the rest.
You're living in the 90s. What's wrong with you?
I am. I just said there's not going to be another Monday Night War.
Yeah,
but I want it.
TNA did it. It was a marvelous success.
They had what, like Sci-Fi or Bravo? What was TNA's? Spike. That was it.
Spike.
Yeah, they didn't have something like Turner. I think we're going to be all right.
And finally, something that I don't think we expected to be reporting on anytime soon, in fact, despite the fact that it's been teased for some time. A surprising title change. These are spoilers. If you've not seen Raw from last night, look away now, but just mute it because our retention rate.
Skip to this time.
It is. The Revival won the Raw Tag Team titles from Gable and Rude. It is nuts, isn't it? So
it's proof that if you want a belt, you just say you're going to AEW.
Right.
That's how it goes.
Oh, don't say that. Orton's going to win at the Chamber. Oh, no. Don't worry about it. So this is really interesting because obviously we thought that they were on their way out. We thought that, hey, maybe like what's happening with Dean Ambrose with the now cancelled Nia Jax matches on House Show, are they just going to bury these guys because they're going to go somewhere else? It appears that that's not the case. But the difference is Ambrose is leaving shortly after Mania, reportedly.
Yep.
No, not reportedly. It's been confirmed. But these guys,
confirmed by WWE.
Well, who are they?
Yeah.
But the difference is the Revival are locked into contracts until I believe it's April 2020. There's still time. Is this the WWE saying to the Revival, hey, if you stick around, maybe we've not used you properly, but
I think it might be the opposite. I think Vince took them into a room and put a plaque on the wall in front of them, and that's their changing room, and it just says, "Don't forget, you're here forever." And they've got little pictures of the Young Bucks, and it says, "Do it for her" for some reason.
So, I'm excited by this. You know, they've been so underutilized. They are fantastic. They're two-time NXT champions. Yeah, they really are up. Some of those matches in NXT on those takeovers, unbelievable. They're so good. They've been ruined. They got ruined by the Clique and their buddies and nonsense. Yeah. Hopefully, this is the start of a long title reign for two of the best tag wrestlers in recent memory.
Next week.
Stop it. Stop it. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Adam Pachisi from Cultaholic.com. This is Sam Driver from Cultaholic.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. Check us out on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe. Let's do it together and join us.